Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Yes, I was right, unfortunately, again. I dislike very much when I'm right, when I predict something that is negative, and I say I predict that will happen, and it happens. Why? Because it's something negative that happens. I like when I predict something positive, but in this case, it's something negative, which is this is a farce of capitalism that we live in the Western world. We are capitalists as long as we win. And the same thing with democracy around the globe and capitalism around the globe and the media, freedom of the media, of the press. We like it as long as we win. And a great example is in the elections. When we lose, nobody likes losing, but you have to accept you lost and try again. That means maybe your message was not the one that was accepted by the people who voted for you. In this case, I will show you how freedom of the press is allowed as long as we have the monopoly. Monopoly rhymes. So let me show you this little article. This comes from Sputnik. Russia Today editor-in-chief cites channel's success as key factor behind US sanctions. Now, you may say, well, obviously I don't like it. No, it's not that, it's not that. Well, how about we talk about numbers? And that could be one reason why. And I will give you many reasons as we read this article to show you, not reasons, proof. I will provide you evidence, arguments to support my claim that these guys like it as long as they have the monopoly. So let's read this article a little bit and get some numbers. The editor-in-chief of Russia's Rossiya Сегодня international media group and the RT broadcaster Margarita Simonian called RT's success as one of the two reasons for US sanctions against Russian media, along with the elections in the United States. And I'm quoting, "Why did they do it now? For two reasons. Firstly, the projects turned out to be incredibly successful. Our audience has grown very significantly compared to what it was when we broadcast openly. Last year alone, our English language projects had almost 14 billion views. This hurts them. This is more than our closest competitors, BBC and CNN." Simonian said on the air of Rossiya 1 broadcaster, and I'm quoting, "Plus, they have elections. This is a scenario they have already worked out. As soon as there are elections, they need to quickly distract everyone with Russia." Simonian recalled earlier that after the start of the Russian special operation, a number of Western countries supporting Ukraine had restricted the work of the TV channels and media groups, including revoking licenses. One of them is France. In these countries, and in particular in the US, we began to work, how can I say, underground, guerrilla warfare in a well-known, familiar and beloved business for any person born in the Soviet Union and raised on Soviet textbooks and educated in a Soviet school. We know how things worked. We organized a number of guerrilla projects. That's what we did. So also emphasized that the audience in other countries had even increased. In addition, I'm quoting, to what we, of course, have left, broadcasting has been strengthened in those countries that allow us to do this. This is Latin America and the Arab world. We have grown very well in Africa, the rest of the world except of the Al Capone's plantation. All right. On September 4, the U.S. Department of the Treasury announced sanctions against Simonian and her deputies Anton Ansimyov and Elizaveta Brokskaya. Deputy Director of RT English Language Information Broadcasting Andrei Kiyashko, RT's digital media projects manager Konstantin Kalashnikov, and a number of other employees of the broadcasters were also added to the sanctions list. So this is, US authorities also announced restrictions on the issues of visas to individuals they allege are acting on behalf of Kremlin-supported media organizations. Meanwhile, US authorities have charged Kalashnikov and another RT employee with money laundering conspiracy and violating the Foreign Agents Registration Act. Now, what a coincidence. So remember, they are way ahead, according to her, than their closest competitors, CNN, right? CNN and BBC. You can say, well, that's one of the reasons, maybe. But I give you the other reason, another argument. Russian oil and Russian gas in Europe. Why did European Union need to impose sanctions on the Russian oil and gas? Well, the argument given to the baboons were, we're not going to support Russia's war machine, Putin's war machine. Well, any baboon knew that if you do this, that means you have to take oil from somewhere else and gas. And you're going to take it from somewhere, and those guys will take from somewhere else. That means opening markets. That's exactly what happened. Part of it. So Russia filled the markets these guys left. They couldn't produce more. That's the problem is. They couldn't produce, and they didn't want to produce more because they had to make a profit. They produce more, the price goes down. So they can't. They will not. So they produce the same thing. They took from the market, sold it to the Europeans, extra. And then these guys filled that market, including the fact that other countries said, okay, this is an opportunity for cheap Russian gas and oil, and they did it. So the fact that these guys, the Americans, the businesses in America, who with the banking system and military-industrial complex are loving the United States of America, and they use our military to go wherever they wanted, CIA, FBI, which are part of the whole scheme. They go in countries and they slap people around. So they said, okay, we can't beat the Russian gas and oil in Europe. And these guys get the most their revenues from oil and gas, from natural resources. So what can we do? So how about we make these baboons in Europe, because we own them as well, we make them sanction themselves. So don't take Russian gas and oil cheap. We blow the pipelines, Nord Stream 1, Nord Stream 2. We tell the Ukrainians to turn off the transit of gas from Russia. Therefore, what's going to happen? The Europeans are destroyed and going to ask us for liquefied natural gas, for instance, or oil. And we're going to give them extra. So they eliminate competition in a very capitalistic way, right? The Russian competition. And they tried to do this with many, many other products. Now, I have to remind you how capitalism really works, as it should work. I produce a product. I make a product. And I go on the market and I advertise. Hey, buy my product. This is, let's say, scratches my balls. This product scratches my balls fast, and you can do it like this, and I buy it for $1. Or let's say $5. And then you come and say, okay, let me see. How can I beat this imbecile? I'm going to create another thing that is better than this guy's product, maybe at a cheaper price, or the same price, but better quality. So you're going to produce something, and you're going to advertise, hey, buy my thing for $4.99, which is cheaper than mine with $5, and it scratches your balls, but you have this little button that also scratches your asshole. 2 in 1, $4.99. And you advertise it, and people look around, try it, and say, oh, it works, man. Ooh, and they will buy it. And I look and say, oh my God, this guy's gonna run me out of business. So what should I do? What can I do to produce a better and cheaper or better product than the guy with the scratching the balls and scratching the nose? And I produce something with, let's say, $6, all right? Something that scratches your balls, your ass, and you can use it from your ass to your nose. The one that you use it for your ass, you use it for your nose, and vice versa. And you go on the market and say, who's going to buy it? And maybe you fail. People don't want to use the one for the scratch from your ball, your ass, and your nose. Therefore, nobody's going to buy it. So what do? Say, okay, I failed. Something these guys did not like. I make some opinion polls, find out what people are dissatisfied with. Obviously, scratch my ass, scratch poke my nose, and I change it. I'm going to make, you can scratch your balls, your ass, and your nose, but not, you got 3 options. And maybe that's going to work, but no, that doesn't work either. So then you go to the elected officials, the government, that you helped with campaign donations and say, hey, you owe me something, guys. You do it nicely in your little, chamber house, and make some laws that will ban that guy. Right? And these guys are going to make some restrictions on those guys, and they will run out of business, or they will place some taxes on whatever location. They will find something. Therefore, I'm going to have the upper hand because I work through the government to impose sanctions or eliminate competition. Now, that's not capitalism. This is what these guys are doing. Instead of the one that I explained at the beginning, I offer something better than those guys and I innovate and invent. It is not the same thing. These guys are, going to the government and say, how about you ban them? Make those localities ban those guys to sell their product in their localities, and I will have monopoly, like in Europe. So the same with the mass media. It seems like the world is not so dumb as these guys think. They have their baboons around. They will always have the weak links, the baboons, the cowards. They will always. I mean, look around you. And these guys, you can't change them. What you do with these guys, you just channel them. That means you fool them, you manipulate them, or straightly smack around, like the communists did. They smack around. And these guys are going to turn into smack around once we are going to be a little bit more numerous or have more authority over the baboons' little nerves, brains that they have. And this seems like Russia today has now the capability to change more baboons, manipulate than these guys. So they won the fight, or they're winning the fight against the free mass media for the baboons' heads, and the baboons are gonna vote. So that's a bad thing. And then what they do, they start saying, oh, the media is paid by the Russia. Remember, they already started. Go and check Scott Ritter's house. Go and charge him with failure to register as a foreign agent, blah, blah, blah. Go and check the other guy's house. Round those right-wing influencers. Do this and do that. And they're getting to smacking around like the communists. Why? Because we are human and we act in the same way. And if we don't have an education system, a culture that really instills certain values and make sure that those values are put in your head as being good, which is take responsibility for your actions instead of avoiding responsibility, and that's called nowadays you're smart. No, that is garbage. That should be sanctioned. But remember, right now, if you take responsibility, yes, who did that? Who did that? I did it. I'm sorry. Okay, the responsibility, this is what you need to do. This is the penalty. Okay, I take it. Now, that's a society. Nowadays, it's not. If you do that, everybody's like, stupid man, how stupid Emil was. Instead of saying, well, I look at this guy, yes, he made a mistake and he has the bravery, he stands by his values and virtues and say, you know what, I did it, I demand, I deserve to be punished in this way. And then actions and consequences. But nowadays it's differently. You're considered stupid if you do that, and smart if you keep quiet. I didn't do it, he did it. And you were smart, man. You transferred the responsibility on someone else, and he got punished for something that you did. Aren't you smart? So this is the new culture. So my friends, this is a new culture. You can see it. That's going to come to this world, the Western civilization. And here you have, she's right. These guys are losing the propaganda war. That's what it is. Propaganda war. I'm not saying Russia today is telling the truth, but it's saying the other side that these guys are not saying. And most of what these guys say resembles reality more than the other guys. I have to pick my words. All right? Because that's the way it is. I'm not saying CNN is not telling the truth sometimes, but ignores some important evidence in order to make a point. Well, the other evidence, these guys are going to point out, and they ignore other points than the other guys are going to make. That's the way it is. That's why you should leave information to be over there. I want to be propagandized by everyone. And if I'm a baboon, which I am, because certain things I don't understand, certain things I don't know, but I'm thinking. If someone comes and say, well, the Russians did this. Oh, wait, who said that? Regardless who said that, I'm going to go and verify, try to find as much information. And if I can't get sources that really, yeah, that's what happened, I wait. I say, I don't know. You say, I don't know. Who made this world? I don't know. Someone must have done it. Yeah, but I don't know who did it. Oh, you know? Good for you. I disagree with your theory, though. So the same here. Don't be afraid to say, I don't know, because we don't know. And sometimes we think we know, and then more evidence comes, and accept the evidence. It's going to change your initial assessment of the situation. That's how you learn. You don't say, this is the end, man. This is the end. Like right now, look at this mouse and say, It's white and it looks like, I don't know, flying, I don't know, sorcerer or something right there. And I stop right there. That's it. And if you tell me, no, actually, this is not a flying thing, this is a mouse. No, it's a no, because that contradicts my assessment. And my ego tells me I can't be wrong. No, but I oppose knowledge. So I have to, okay, what is it? Oh, it's a mouse. Let me show you our, blah, blah. And you learn. You learn. You want to learn or you don't want to be right? I think you should be right if you learn. You shouldn't be right if you don't know shit, just because you think you're, I mean, it's up to each person how much open to information and knowledge is. Remember, once you got the knowledge, you have to do something with it. Don't only sit on it. As someone used to be a friend of mine said, well, I just want to learn. I want to know. And I said, well, yeah, but that's the first step. The second one is to act. Oh, I just want to learn. I think that's very selfish way of doing things. But hey, that's his life. I have a different philosophy of life. So that's it. So here's my friends. I think it's true that these guys are winning because I read this every day. I read any media outlet that I can get my hands on over there. I can't read everything because obviously I don't have time. And you waste your time doing this. You miss the, if you focus on each little branch and even tree, you miss the forest or whatever. So the same here. I read the Russian media, the French media, British media, American media, Arab media, Chinese media, whatever to get the information. And you have to jump around, like I always say. Imagine you are in 2 o'clock a.m. You come from a restaurant, bar, and you're a little bit tipsy, and you go to this little narrow street, and you know that's a lot of shits, real shits on the ground, because some people, darkness, took a shit, and and you barely can see, and you just have to jump around as this guy, jump through hoops. No, it's no hoops for avoiding shit. The same. Sometimes you step in shit, like you say something that, oh, well, that was wrong. Well, accept it was wrong. At that point, you thought it was wrong, it was right. And then you say, I'm sorry, but what can I do? I work with it. Then the punishment is what? See if people would listen to you. And if they think, oh, he made a mistake, well, he never made a mistake, right? I mean, if we just judge like that, yeah, we make a mistake. The power is to work, to learn from the mistakes and improve. If you just say, yeah, I'm sorry, and you continue, that's the way it is. So yes, I think these guys are winning the propaganda or the information war that's out there. And once they will get the monopoly, they will turn into the other ones even more. That's the way it is. Why? We are humans. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.